Are you being a diva? Don't act like you're not. Good morning and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mindy, and if you're new here, I have lost over 100 pounds on Wegovy and Mounjaro, and my house is an absolute disaster. It is currently the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and I would love to use the excuse that Thanksgiving was hosted at my house, but it was not. I did do the majority of the cooking for Thanksgiving this year, but I did it at Nikki's house. So I did do a little bit of prep here, which is where some of this mess came from. And hi, baby. Hello. Mostly it's from me bringing everything home and just dumping it, and then being so exhausted from Wednesday and Thursday that I just didn't do anything to clean it up. So now it's Sunday. I go back to work tomorrow and I need a house that is functional. Not gonna lie, it's been kind of accumulating and getting worse over the last several weeks. I have a ton of Amazon boxes that need to get thrown away, and mostly I'm just sick and tired of looking at my house that is just gross. If you are new around here, we're real. We don't do the I'm a perfect YouTube person and my house never looks like a herd of cattle ran through it. No, this is real life around here because I know that that's what you're going through in your world. And I'm hoping that watching me muddle through and be a disaster will help you feel like less of a disaster. I don't know if it does or not, but you know, one can hope. So I just thought I'd bring you with me while I clean this place up a little bit and get ready to do some food prep so that I can get back on track this week. Because, you know, Thanksgiving is a time for indulgence and enjoyment and just being with your family and not worrying about calories and macros and all of those things, because it is just a day, you know? So let's get this house back into some semblance of working order. Try to feel better about ourselves and get something accomplished. And then we'll start some food prep so that we have good, healthy food to eat throughout the week so we can get back to staying on track with our goals. Let's do this. He used to use this to carry Helios around him when he was a baby before he was fully vaccinated. Now I use it to take trash out.
A young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care.
I did it. My sweet husband helped load the dishwasher. Turn on some music. Music always makes things better.
Take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
It's good enough for now. I still need to wipe off the stove and stuff, but at least there isn't trash everywhere, sort of. I still have a ton of crap to clean up over there. It never ends, guys. We all just need a break.
Church on Sundays, Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kitten and maid.
It still needs lots of help, but progress, not perfection, right? Hey guys, so I'm taking a little break from cleaning because I still haven't even gone grocery shopping yet. If you're new here, normally Nikki and I do grocery shopping on Saturday mornings so that I have all my groceries together, and then on Sunday all I have to worry about is food prep, and I'm not spending my entire day like dealing with grocery shopping and food prep and everything. But my husband, he's a commercial truck driver, and he had to drive to Lubbock today, and he's going to be gone overnight. So I decided not to pick up groceries yesterday so that I could spend the day with him. So I'm paying the price today, which is fine. I much rather would have had the time with him. And yesterday we started Ted Lasso. We've never watched it, and Nikki and Tanner have been watching it, and they just went on and on about how amazing it was and how we just had to see it. And we've had other people tell us that before too, but like we just didn't think we were gonna like it. I don't know why. Like, we've just been really disappointed with anything new on TV for the last, I don't know, 23 years, ever since COVID.
we finally decided to start watching it, and we binge watched the entire first season yesterday. It was so good, way better than what we were expecting. If you haven't seen it, the language is quite colorful, which doesn't bother us at all, but if you're thinking about watching it, just know lots of profanity, which, I mean, whatever, we don't care, but I always like to warn people just in case they're sensitive to things like that. So we just thought it was hilarious. We laughed a lot last night, probably went to bed way later than we should have, just because we wanted to finish the first season. And yeah, we're looking forward to watching the rest of that. We finally finished Suits yesterday. It was such a good show. If you haven't seen that one and you're looking for something to watch, also totally worth watching. We played some video games, and it was just a really fun day just being at home, like after everything with Thanksgiving and stuff. Like, we needed the time to just chill. So today, in addition to trying to get the house in some semblance of non-chaotic, like, it's still a mess, don't get me wrong, but at least there isn't stuff piled everywhere, which is how it's been for probably over a month, just because things have been crazy with me starting work and everything. And by the time I get home at night, I'm not feeling up to doing much of anything. This week is my first full week back, not in training. So I do have almost a full-time day tomorrow. I'm going from 8:15 to 4. And then I have Tuesday and Wednesday off. So I'll be able to work on some filming and editing and stuff like that, which I'm really happy about because I'm ready to get back to filming. I've missed you guys so much, and just being able to have that accountability. And I'm so excited to share with you guys some of the things that have happened as a result of me starting this job. I didn't realize when I took the job, I did know they said that I would qualify for benefits. What I didn't know is the company that I work for actually contributes more towards benefits for people who make a lower salary. So because I'm a part-time employee, they actually contribute more to our benefits. And my benefits started on my first day. So normally you've got a 30 to 90 day waiting period before you actually get to start your benefits. Not at this company, apparently. It's like, let's do it. Like, it's going now. And I compared the prices and everything, and even with the like top of the line insurance, so like a PPO type thing where like we get to pick whoever we go with, but it's also copay based. So we're not having to satisfy a giant deductible first and all of this stuff. And I called and found out that Wegovy is available with a prior authorization. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put in for it. I seriously doubt that it'll get approved before I actually have to change insurances in January, because they're changing insurance companies in January. But I'll put in for it, whatever. So last Wednesday, I submitted through Express Scripts to start the prior authorization process through my doctor, through Jessica. And 2 days later, I got a call saying that my prior authorization had been approved and they were sending me the Wegovy. 2 days. I have no idea if we're moving prescription companies. Like, I know that my insurance, like I'm on Anthem right now, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we're switching to United Healthcare. And I have heard nightmare stories about United Healthcare and the class action lawsuit that they're going through. If you have questions about that, check out the live that I did with the Plus Sides podcast a couple weeks ago. I'll link the video somewhere and down in the description. But I'm hoping that our prescription coverage is still going to say through Express Scripts, because if so, then I already have the prior authorization approved all the way through like December of next year. And I'm getting it for $25 a month with the coupon. So I'm super excited about that. I'm not counting my chickens before they're hatched. I'm not trying to get super worked up about it yet, because I may only have these 3 months and I may have to go back to the compound. But if I do, it's not the end of the world. I'm super excited to have these 3 months with the Wegovy. The semaglutide compound has been working just fine for me for the last several months, but it is a lot more expensive than the $25 a month for the Wegovy. So it's been a crazy couple weeks. It's been really, really hard not being able to film and check in with you guys and let you know what's going on with me. But even if just for those 3 months, to be able to get back on Wegovy is just so exciting. The other cool thing is that even though we have like this way better coverage we're saving like $150 a month from what we were paying with my husband's employer. Between what we were paying for the insurance and what we were contributing to the HSA, like we're saving like $150 a month. I'm just so grateful and excited and happy and hopeful that maybe it will continue beyond January, because that would make my life so much easier than having to deal with the compound every month. I'm almost to the grocery store finally, and I am ready to get some groceries and get to cooking. So let's do this thing. It's still warm.
In a gown and a crown, barefoot.
Look what's finally back in stock. Good morning, you guys. I just got back from the gym. I am exhausted and running really late. So I'm going to do my first Wegovy shot in over a year and a half. So this is the Wegovy pen. It's very different from the Mounjaro pen. It's spring activated, so obviously you sanitize the area and let that dry. And I always use my arms for Wegovy. You take the cap off when you're ready, and the needle is obscured, like it's down in there. When you push this to your skin, that's when the needle comes out and it administers the meds. And then you basically just wait for the little yellow thing to stop moving. There are going to be 2 clicks just like the Mounjaro, but there's no button. You just push it. And it continues to move for a little bit after the second click, so you need to wait for that little yellow window to completely stop moving. And that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Put the lid back on. This goes in a sharps container. I have a link down in the description for a free sharps container from Novo Nordisk if you don't have one. Eli Lilly stopped giving them out for free, but you can also just use like a used hard plastic container, like a laundry soap container. And when it's done, you can just duct tape over the lid, write sharps on the side, and it can go just in a regular trash can. I'm gonna eat my breakfast and get going to work. I have very little time, so I will probably see you guys for dinner tonight. Good morning. Yeah, so last night was not a night for filming. It was my first full day on my feet at work, and I was pretty out of it by the time I got home, so I just wasn't feeling up to filming. So I will share last night's dinner with you tomorrow, because we'll be having it for leftovers, but it was absolutely delicious. Super excited to share that recipe with you guys. But for now, I want to share my breakfast this week with you guys, which is a lemon blueberry pancake bowl thing. The recipe is from Stay Fit Mom on Instagram, and I've shown you her recipes before. She did the Bang Bang Chicken, and she's kind of famous for these meal prep bowls. Really easy to throw together. I did it all on meal prep on Sunday. Her recipe called for using frozen mixed berries, but I'm not a huge fan of blackberries in something like this. The seeds are just too big, and the berries themselves are just too big for me, so I just did blueberry. And I did do a larger portion, like I did 1.5 times the recipe, because her single recipe was in 2-cup bowls and it was only like 200 calories or something like that. So I knew that this was going to be my whole breakfast and that would not be enough calories to hold me over to lunchtime. The consistency of mine was not as thick as hers. I did use the weights instead of the measurements, so I have a feeling that she probably scooped. When you scoop, depending on how you scoop, like you can pack a lot more in there than what the weight says. The other thing is I kind of suspect that my scale is starting to die. It's quite old. I've had it for I think almost a decade, so it's probably time for me to get a new scale. I've been suspecting for a while that the weights haven't been completely accurate. But anyway, I just stuck this in my air fryer on the bake setting for 300 degrees for about 30 minutes while I got ready this morning, while I jumped in the shower and did all the things. And then I took it out and topped it with my new favorite Greek yogurt, which is the Oikos 000 Vanilla. It is a blended Greek yogurt, which is probably why I like it, which means that it is blended with Greek yogurt and plain yogurt, so it's not as sour. And the sourness that does come across is more lemony than yogurty. I don't know if that makes any kind of sense, but it's delicious. I enjoy it immensely. It's got plenty of protein in it, and it kind of bulks this up a little bit. I threw a little bit more blueberries on top with some sugar-free Mrs. Butterworth syrup, and we're gonna give this a taste. I'm just gonna stir all the toppings around on top. That's pretty. Hopefully it didn't get overcooked in the oven. You can also just put it in the microwave for a couple of minutes, but I just figured I would let it cook in the oven while I was getting ready. That's way better than pretty much any pancake thing that I've made on this channel. If you've been around for a while, you know that pancakes aren't necessarily my favorite thing. It's lemony. You get the little pops from the poppy seeds, and it pretty much just tastes like a blueberry lemon poppy seed muffin. But then you have the yogurt on top, which is creamy, and a little bit of syrup to sweeten it up. And yeah, this is delicious. Super quick and easy to throw together on meal prep day, and definitely worth it. I'm going to enjoy this and feed my dog because he's having an absolute conniption. Are you being a diva? Don't act like you're not. I love you. And I will see you guys back for lunchtime. Hello, beautiful people. So, it's the next day, and my face is a little splotchy because it's been kind of a traumatic morning. So yesterday, after I left you guys, Richard ended up being home early, and so we went and had lunch together because, especially now that I'm working, we just don't have many opportunities like that. So I went ahead and went to lunch with him, and then we came home and watched some more Ted Lasso. And I haven't worked out for 2 weeks. I was really, really sick. I had a cold the week before Thanksgiving, and so I took a week off to allow my body time to rest and recover. Then last week was Thanksgiving, and I just had way too much going on. I mean, I had tons of steps and activity, but I wasn't going to the gym. And so Monday was my first workout in 2 weeks, and yesterday morning I was already sore, but by the afternoon I could barely move. And I ended up having to do an Epsom salt soak last night for my legs. And this morning I had another workout, but thankfully it was all upper body. I'm still struggling with moving around. And this morning after my workout, and I did a very short walk with Helios because I honestly just couldn't do anymore, I went into the bathroom to get ready while my breakfast was warming up. And one of my earrings, the earrings that my husband gave me for Valentine's Day years ago, they're my absolute favorite earrings, I wear them all the time, fell down the drain. And the water was running when it went down, and it had been for quite some time. And I immediately just broke down into tears, kind of pulled myself together with Helios's prodding. He was kind of having a fit because he didn't know what was going on with me. And I took the P-trap apart, and it wasn't in the P-trap. And then I was sobbing on the bathroom floor. And then I decided to try and take the drain part apart, hoping that maybe it got stuck in the stopper. And I had to watch a couple YouTube videos, but I figured out how to get the stopper out. And thankfully it was sitting there like in the kind of the gunk that was stuck in my drain. And so thankfully, thank goodness, I have both my earrings, but it has been like that kind of took its toll on me this morning. Crying like that always ends up giving me a headache, and I just kind of feel so, I don't know what the rest of the day is going to look like for me, but I did want to make sure that I got the chance to show you guys my lunch. This week, I decided to do something really simple because I was still recovering from doing all the cooking for Thanksgiving, and so I wanted to make something very low maintenance. So on Sunday, really the only things that I needed to do was to batch cook some bacon. If you've never cooked bacon in the oven, this is your sign to do so. Basically, I just cover an entire pan with heavy duty aluminum foil, and then I lay out the bacon in a single layer. The bacon does shrink up quite a bit, so you can kind of inch it up so that it takes up less room, and it'll still cook perfectly flat, but it will take up less room on the pan, so you can get an entire 12-ounce package of bacon on there. If it's thicker cut, I can get an entire pound of bacon on a tray, a half sheet pan. And
you basically just cook that at like 425 degrees or 375, whichever you like. I like doing it at 425 because I like my bacon on the chewier side. So 425 will get it like set enough on the outside without it being super like uber crispy. And depending on your oven, it'll take anywhere from like 15 to 25 minutes, and it doesn't get grease everywhere. Basically, once you take it out, and I just lay out some paper towels and I kind of shingle the bacon and roll it up and then just stick it in a gallon zip top bag. And once all that grease cools, you can just pull up the aluminum foil, roll it up in a ball, and throw it in the trash can, and you don't even need to wash the pan. So it is 1000% the way of the bacon for me. And then I just washed some romaine lettuce hearts and cut them like in half so that they're the right length to fit in my wraps. And then basically the night before, I just lay out a piece of plastic wrap, and the plastic wrap is important. You can do parchment if you want or aluminum foil, but I highly recommend making these ahead of time and wrapping them, because that's kind of what allows it to keep its shape, and it makes it a lot easier to eat. And then I just lay out a low carb tortilla. I prefer La Banderita carb counter tortillas. My HEB was completely out of all of them this week, so all I had was the Mission Carb Balance, and they're fine. They're just a lot smaller and higher calories. So I prefer the La Banderita ones because I think they're a lot softer. I think they taste better, and they're lower calorie for a larger wrap. So I prefer those, but if you can't get them, the Mission is fine. I mean, honestly, any of them is fine. You can use whatever you want. Just realize macro count and calorie count is going to vary depending on the one you pick. And then I use a triangle of Laughing Cow cheese instead of mayonnaise, because it serves as kind of like the food lube, but it also brings some extra protein and flavor to the party, and it doesn't make everything soggy sitting overnight. And then I do a half an avocado and 4 little grape tomatoes kind of cut up into little pieces. And then you need to make sure that you salt and pepper those, because avocado and tomato can really be lackluster in flavor, but once you salt and pepper them, it's the way to go. And then I put a little bit of diced red onion on because I like the bite that it gives. If you're not a fan of onion, don't worry about it. If you like onion, but not like a super pungent onion like red onion, you can do a little bit of green onion on there. That would be good. I mean, really, you can do whatever you want. And then I do 3 slices of center cut bacon and whatever kind of lettuce or green of your choice. Spinach is good. I'm just doing romaine hearts. You can use sprouts if you want. That would be really delicious. But you're going to want more lettuce than you think you're going to want, because when it sits overnight in the fridge, it tends to kind of like calm down. So like I tried putting like 4 little pieces of lettuce on it the first time I made it, and it was like, there's no lettuce on here. So this time I put a lot more, and I don't worry about tucking the ends in on a wrap because there's nothing really juicy in there that's going to fall out. And I put a little dollop of the Laughing Cow cheese on one end because it helps kind of keep the wrap closed. And it seems like it's way too big, but that's where the plastic wrap comes in. Use the plastic wrap like in a diamond shape, and you pull it up from the bottom tight, kind of like you're rolling a spring roll, and then you're going to pull over from the sides, because we all know plastic wrap won't stick to anything except for itself. So pull it into the side and then roll it up the rest of the way, and that will kind of, allowing that to sit like that, like even for just like 15 to 20 minutes, will really help it hold its shape and make it way easier to eat. But like I said, I'm using these for lunches, so I do it the night before, and then I have it ready for myself the next day, and I just pull it out of the fridge and shove it in my face. So it's a BLT, you know, it's delicious, it's salty, it's crunchy with the lettuce, and it's got all the fattiness from the avocado and the garlic herb from the Laughing Cow cheese, and it's absolutely delicious and super easy. I will say, if you've been around for a while and you remember my chicken Caesar wraps, those are still my favorite. They're way messier to eat, but so delicious, and I will probably revisit those again sometime very soon, because I was thinking about them as I was putting together my meal plan and thinking about doing these BLTs, but I had the bacon in my freezer already that needed to get used. Anyway, I also wanted to make sure that I shared with you guys the high protein tomato bisque that I made, that we ate on Monday and I forgot to film. It is absolutely delicious. I used a recipe that I've used before on this channel from Skinny Taste, If you struggle with putting together your own meal plans, I know I have a lot of people that have told me, like, I just need help, like, putting together a meal plan. Like, it's great that you have the spreadsheet and everything, but like, I just need help. And if you're not wanting to pay for the Macro Friendly Food subscription, which cannot recommend it highly enough because I don't have to modify any of her recipes to make them work for my high protein diet, but I have a link and a 10% discount code down in the description if you guys want to check that out. It is so good. But skinnytaste.com has free meal plans on her website. Again, they're not necessarily meant to be high protein, but it's a good starting off point, and you can make modifications to add more protein if that's something that you're trying to do. Adding more protein into my diet was what really helped with my hair loss. It was what really helped with muscle recovery when I started working out, and it just helped with like keeping my weight loss steady. So basically, I used her Instant Pot tomato basil soup recipe, which I will link down in the description. It's super simple. You just brown the onions and celery and carrots in some butter and olive oil, and then you add beef bouillon instead of chicken broth and water, and then you add some milk and bay leaves, fresh basil, thyme, and just let it cook in there for, I want to say it's like 30 minutes or so. Oh, I also added Parmesan rind. You're going to take that out because it's not delicious. You don't want to eat that after it's done cooking. But it really does add a lot of flavor to the soup. I always keep my Parmesan rinds when I buy Parmigiano Reggiano. After it's done cooking on high pressure for like, I think it's like 30 minutes. Then you take the lid off, take out the bay leaves and the Parmesan rind, and then you're gonna blend it. And instead of taking it out and using my blender, I just used my immersion blender. It takes a little bit longer, but it's easier to clean and easier to deal with than trying to scoop stuff into the blender. So I blended that until it was super, super smooth. And then I added an entire 16-ounce container of non-fat cottage cheese. And I blended that up with the immersion blender. And you'll see when I blend it up, you can see all the little flecks from the curd, no matter how long I blended it, like those wouldn't go away. But when you eat it, you can't feel them. So like there's no texture remaining from that cottage cheese. And then you blend in 1/3 cup of Parmesan, like just grated Parmesan cheese. I used Parmesan Romano because I like the flavor of it better. And you can just stop right there if you want to, but I added even more protein by browning up a pound of 93% lean ground beef. My husband prefers his tomato soup with ground beef in it. I had never had it that way until he was like, "Oh, you're making tomato soup. Can we put ground beef in it?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." And it's delicious. Like that's why I use beef broth instead of chicken. Like the beefiness from that just really added a lot. The recipe doesn't call for garlic, but I added fresh garlic, and then even at the end, to me, it needed more garlic flavor, so I added some granulated garlic at the end as well. I'm a garlic fiend. It just was lacking a little bit in flavor to me, so it needed that extra like punch from the garlic. And then the ground beef I just seasoned up with like some Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, granulated onion, and garlic. And that was it. And then I just dumped it into the soup after it was already blended. And my husband and I ate that. I took that entire recipe and tried to divide it into only 6 portions, which was over 18 ounces of soup per serving, which is over a pound of soup. And I couldn't eat that much. Like I tried because it was really very low calorie. For one serving, if you took the entire recipe and divided it by 6, it's only 335 calories with 34 grams of protein, 19 grams of carbs, and 13 grams of fat. The portion that I was able to actually eat on Monday was only 314 calories with 31 grams of protein. So it's like 41% protein for the recipe. So really, really good. We ended up just using the Rhodes frozen rolls. It's frozen dough. And then you let it defrost in the fridge overnight and take it out about an hour before you're ready to bake it. And they are like just delicious, pull apart, soft, so good. And so we just did one of those rolls with a little bit of butter on it, and it was super satisfying, warm, happy, delicious fall happiness in a bowl. And so calorie friendly and really easy to throw together. I know that this video has been a little bit all over the place. I'm still getting back in the groove of filming and editing and figuring out what that looks like with my work schedule. So thank you for bearing with me as I get my bearings back. And it was so awesome to hang out with you guys this week. I'm so grateful for you guys to continuing to support me and just being amazing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding